Welcome back to Workday Gourmet. In this video, I will share with you a foolproof way for any beginner to make a perfectly creamy Cacio e Pepe, the real deal with no butter or cream. If you've had an authentic Cacio e Pepe on vacation, went home and tried it out using the traditional method, odds are you've encountered a couple lumpy batches that had you question your sanity. You grate your cheese with a microplane, add pasta water, mix it into a thick sauce, toss, and you get a plasticky and emulsified mess that's nothing like the creamy, luscious goodness that allegedly was achievable with just cheese and pasta water. To debug this dish, I tested out a few variables, starting with the pasta. I tried out an assortment of pasta, from the slow-dried, brown-style cut ones to the cheaper varieties. You've probably noticed the obvious difference between the rougher, paler, more expensive pasta and the smooth yellow, Teflon-pressed, high-temperature dried ones. I've heard that the premium ones tend to produce starchier water and tested out 4 different pasta looking to find out how big a difference the type of pasta makes in the starch output. I've cooked 4 ounces of each brand in 1.5 quarts of water seasoned with 1 teaspoon of plain table salt. Collected about 2 cups of pasta water, let them sit for a few hours for the starch to settle, and the result is, honestly, a little surprising. I cannot reliably conclude that the slow-dried ones produced starchier water here. So, my conclusion is spend more for the better texture, but don't expect the slightly better pasta from US supermarket to magically fix all your sauce problems. Moving on to the next variable, the cheese. I have here 2 Pecorino Romano, a slightly younger and cheaper one from Renzi, and a more aged one from Locatelli. Cost a bit more, but it's really good. The cheaper one appears milkier, almost like a domestic Parmesan, and the more premium one looks more like a imported Parmigiano Reggiano, with an almost crumbly texture. It noticeably melts easier in the mouth. However, even a better cheese has given me lumpy, stringy results before, and a relatively cheaper cheese has produced wonderfully creamy results when prepared right. So pay extra for the flavor, but better cheese won't guarantee a successful sauce. Next variable is the grater. The finest side of the box grater produces a finer and more uniform texture than a microplane. I grated about 1 ounce of pecorino using each grater and added the same pasta water to both. The finer grounds from the box grater does dissolve more smoothly, but microplane yields acceptable results as well. The next thing to try would be to cook pasta in less water, but it's impractical for larger portions. You have to bust out a huge pan or cut your spaghetti. I wanted none of that, and seeing that the purpose of doing so is to get starchier pasta water, I decided to simply add wheat starch back in. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of wheat starch with a tablespoon of cold water. Turns out this is the answer to make the cheese dissolve quickly and readily into the pasta water. You can get the same result by reducing pasta water until it's thick enough. Adding wheat starch is the chemical equivalent that will provide instant good results, that takes out the guesswork around the viscosity and the saltiness of reduced pasta water. I will attach a link in the description for the wheat starch. For a successful batch, start with salted boiling water. Cook pasta following package instruction. Toast a teaspoon of whole black pepper while pasta is boiling. This will make the pepper taste stronger and spicier. Start this process about 5 minutes before your pasta finishes cooking. Use some water and pesto for a coarse ground. Add ground pepper back into the pan, and pour about 1/4 inch of pasta water into the pan. Add in the pasta. Keep the water boiling. Add in the starch slurry and give everything a quick stir. You should see the water thickening up very fast. Now add in the cheese and pasta water mixture and stir into the pasta. I'm showing you the emulsification in real time. The cheese should blend in with the starch water very fast. See how creamy and lump-free this turns out? Now I'll show you the cornstarch version. Again, starch water into the pan. Always dissolve starch in cold water first. Stir until liquid thickens. Add cheese paste and stir. Cornstarch doesn't emulsify as easily from my test. It needs more stirring and tends to still leave traces of stringy cheese. But once you throw in the pasta, this is not as obvious. So in a pinch it will do. Whichever starch you use, you're still guaranteed an overall creamy and satisfying bowl, even with dollar pasta and cheaper cheese. If you find my trials and tips helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.